What's up, guys? If you're interested in hanging out and chatting with me while I grab footage that you'll likely see in future videos, head on over to my Twitch channel linked in the description below, where we can talk all things COD, gaming, whatever life throws at us. Hope to see you there, but let's get back into the content at hand. Warzone is changing everything, and that statement is pretty broad but also entirely true. While we talk about things from a more top-down level to the player, yes, it's the first introduction to the free-to-play element of Call of Duty, but it's also the first unifying aspect of multiple games in the Call of Duty franchise. That's all true, but perhaps the biggest change it's making is to the storytelling elements that the players are so used to for the last decade plus. For that last 10+ year span, annually we've been seeing back and forth between universes, if you will, the Black Ops universe and the Modern Warfare universe, taking us through the storylines of each lore from Zakayev, Khaled al-Assad to Shepard and Makarov to Dragovich, Steiner, Kravchenko, and the Steps to Freedom, all the way up to Menendez, Taylor, and Dr. Savannah Meyer and the Blackout Project. The story has alternated for over a decade until, well, maybe it doesn't anymore. Today I want to take a look at how Warzone is and has already changed everything that we know about, and what Modern Warfare and Black Ops Cold War seem to have incredibly in common. So as we go along today, what do you think of this? What do you think of the coming universal crossover and perhaps bleed over? Love it, hate it? Let me know in the comments. As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course Black Ops Cold War as we round into everything we'll be seeing here coming up shortly. That said, let's get into it. Now, the idea of a Warzone crossover has been around for quite some time, actually since around the launch of Warzone. The first initial indication that we had any sort of crossover was in an interview with narrative director at Infinity Ward, Taylor Kurosaki, who was talking with a French gaming publication, GamerGen, describing the plans that Activision had for Warzone shortly after its launch. When discussing that launch, he stated, "We're in kind of uncharted territories here. Call of Duty has been a very regular cadence for many, many years, and Warzone has made us rethink exactly how best to release new content and how to integrate it." He continued by saying, "Warzone will be that through line that connects all the different various sub-franchises of Call of Duty. It's going to be really cool to see how the different sub-franchises sort of come in and out of focus, but Warzone will be that one constant." Now, on the surface, that can easily seem like, okay, Warzone is just that part that's going to be in focus every year, present between every single release, and that Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and any other IPs that come into the fray, those will be coming in and out of the fold. They'll have their time, but after a point, they'll step back and let another game take over that spotlight. But narratively, it means so much more if you ask me, with ties already having been made and in place in Warzone for a crossover for a while now. The narrative ties come in the way in a couple of different ways in the Easter eggs. Storylines and the subsequent things that we've seen throughout multiple different Easter eggs as the year has progressed have gone in a couple of different ways. Firstly, though, we knew that Warzone was initially going to continue that storyline of Modern Warfare. That's really one of the big main key parts here with this. The narrative of Modern Warfare 2019 went through all the modes really, from campaign to Spec Ops and then carrying over into Warzone, with traditional MP being kind of like a standalone mode that kept those agents of the storyline engaged with the players, but unlike Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4, didn't really offer a ton in terms of the actual backstory throughout the modes and maps presented. But Warzone picked up the mantle where Spec Ops left off, and the fight against Al-Qatala raged on as Armistice was formed, bringing together both Coalition and Allegiance forces to stop Mr. Z and Khaled al-Assad. That was the Modern Warfare side here of this, and we see that it still kind of points towards what we may see in a Modern Warfare 2, if you will, in which maybe in the next year of 2021, that's that Roman numeral 2 behind Modern Warfare. But we also saw Easter eggs pointing to the setup of Black Ops Cold War. And of course, the biggest one being that culmination of what we've seen just recently with the Know Your History event, where you ended up having to run to the stadium. It debuted the new trailer that came along with it, and all things considered. Really cool to see that progress towards where we were with all of that and how multiple different smaller Easter eggs led up to that reveal event. But whatever way you spin it, we see both the Modern Warfare backstory and also Black Ops Cold War stuff tying in together in Warzone in the sense of the Cold War, right? I mean, this fits in multiple different ways. One, because you wanted to market Black Ops Cold War. Verdansk was, of course, a hotbed in the Cold War. That's already been said multiple times in different locations, and the world being out for it lends a hand to that credibility in the story universe. But also the story for Warzone actually progressed that Mr. Z was previously thought to be Imran Zakayev, but it's actually his son Victor. But again, throughout all of this, sets up the backstory that Imran Zakayev and his arms dealer lifestyle in the background was going on, and he was prominently known within the Cold War, letting us, the players, know it's been going on for a while. But while we have these Easter eggs like the RCXD we've seen before, we now have the Cold War era bunkers, and even now we have Woods in the actual game as a playable operator. Sure, some of that can be written off as just simply a marketing scheme or something to utilize all eyes in Warzone and point them to the next product, except the most recent intel missions kind of change all of that. Because in one, if you were to take a look at those intel missions and do them yourselves, one of the accompanying pieces of intel that we got was a note that said, finishing what father began, Adler/Perseus. Perseus tried recruiting, IZ, moving to Showers, Block 2. Now, finishing what father began, that is something that's a little bit more ambiguous, a little bit more up in the air, but we see two different names here that are direct tie-ins to Black Ops Cold War. Adler, Russell Adler, that new main protagonist, and also Perseus, the main antagonist, the guy that is the Spectre, the one that people don't even know if he's real, but the threats sure are. Now, Perseus tried to recruit IZ, Imran Zakhaev, meaning Imran Zakhaev 100% had contact with this Cold War era boogeyman that was Perseus. Of course, then tying directly in with the Black Ops Cold War storyline. Two of those characters mentioned by name, whereas previously, if it wasn't in the same universe, they would have never existed. So does this confirm then that we now have the Modern Warfare reboot, not only taking some of the likeliness and the likelihood of the Modern Warfare trilogy beforehand, but do we see that then bleed over to now be into the Black Ops universe as well, where we've talked about it before, they were kind of circling the drain and looked to make it all one universe, but now with direct crossovers and ties, it sure seems like that's the case. Meaning that no longer will you have the Modern Warfare universe and the Black Ops universe rotating year on and year off, in which you have to pay attention to that storyline. Instead, they look to be making one larger game universe, one that is simply the Call of Duty universe. And in the grand scheme of the time frame of everything and what we see with these games, if we just then allow Modern Warfare to bleed over into that Black Ops timeline, it actually makes sense. The original Black Ops took place in '68. Black Ops Cold War looks to start and potentially end in 1981. Black Ops 2 was 2025, but also had time jumps back to 1986. Then after Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warfare 2019 took place in present day when it launched, and it was something that took place in October of 2019, and maybe likely then, as the story progressed, we could see that it moves over into 2020. Black Ops 2 took place in 2025. Black Ops 4 actually came before Black Ops 3 in the time frame and timeline of everything, in which that took place around 2045, and then in the 2060s is when Black Ops 3 really picked up. So we can see that while yes, there is still a lot in the future that Black Ops takes out in terms of the timeline, Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare definitely could be in the same timeline. As crazy as that sounds, and again, why it seems like Warzone is completely changing everything, but these universal bleedovers do look to happen here as a result of, again, what would have previously been thought of as two totally unrelated characters and story arcs. They seem to have made contact with each other, where Perseus from Black Ops Cold War and the Black Ops universe made direct contact with Imran Zakhaev. That to me is kind of crazy that we've had these ideas and these notions, but nothing that really ever fully stated that one would contact a different universe, except until now. So with Warzone being that one constant between everything, maybe it is that thread that again has these bleedovers in terms of the universes. What that means for then if there's a Modern Warfare 2, because that will likely then, if it still follows present day, make its way over into at that point at the earliest 2021, you're getting really close to stepping on Black Ops 2's turf in terms of that time frame. Plus Black Ops 2, while it was still rooted in plausible idea and tech, it definitely depicted a little bit more of a futuristic modern day as to what we'd actually be coming up on. So that might in time maybe nullify some of the ideas here with this, but for the time being, I think it's incredible to think that we have these direct bleedovers and how Warzone could be taking two universes and merging them all into one. So that's where we're going to wrap it up here today. I want to talk to you guys about this and have a little casual conversation with the future of Call of Duty and the universe overall. Not necessarily just the two split universes, but maybe now just one. So love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think this means here for the future of Call of Duty, for the future of the Modern Warfare or the Black Ops universes? Do you think they are going to finally merge into one, or do you think that it's just something that maybe this is some crossover that was mentioned for the marketing of Black Ops Cold War, and outside of this one independent situation, maybe it actually doesn't connect as well as we think? Whatever it is, this, feel free to let me know your thoughts, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing. We're doing all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course, Black Ops Cold War as we round into a ton of stuff here coming up. So hopefully you guys enjoy that and stick around, but if you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get content on YouTube. Practically live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.